Breaking news today, President Trump's recent spending spree is grabbing headlines. Is this a strategic investment in America's future, or merely a spectacle for the cameras? Tonight, we'll explore who truly benefits from this spending and who ultimately pays the price.
Hello, and welcome to That News Show, where we discuss the latest facts, fakes, and hypocrisy as reported by the legacy media. Let's roll the tape.
Fox News reports that President Trump has embarked on a significant spending spree. But what does this mean for you and for the nation? Tonight, we learned that the president is investing his own money in White House renovations, while Apple pledges $600 billion to boost American manufacturing. Washington experts are celebrating these moves as triumphs. We must ask, are these genuine investments in America's future, or simply more political theater, another spectacle, while ordinary citizens bear the cost of globalist errors and endless wars? Consider this. When was the last time a president risked his own salary for the country rather than profiting after leaving office? The previous administration under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris talked about unity but sent jobs overseas and aligned closely with China. Now we see a president insisting that corporations invest here, not in Beijing or Berlin. A significant change that the media often overlooks. Let's be clear. If this spending spree only results in grander ballrooms and more headlines, it misses the mark. Americans desire factories, not mere photo ops. They seek peace, not new foreign conflicts. They expect leaders who prioritize national interests over personal gain. As this spectacle unfolds, remember, the true measure of success is not what the elites purchase, but whether they prioritize America and its citizens above all else. Let's see what we can find out.
I watched this group of people on CNN and MSDNC too, the same thing, where they say, well, costs have gone up. Costs haven't gone up, they've gone down. I'm telling you, the thing that's gone up is stock prices. And success of our country.
Now for a much harder deal. Russia.
Stock prices have surged, with the S&P 500 up nearly 19% compared to last year, reaching record highs across major indices. Despite concerns about rising costs, the fundamentals of the American economy have strengthened, corporate earnings are solid, and consumer spending remains robust, even amid ongoing debates about tariffs and trade policy. It's remarkable how some experts continue to promote a narrative of doom and gloom, while the market tells a different story. The S&P 500's rally, driven by strong earnings and investor confidence, demonstrates what happens when the government steps back and allows American businesses to innovate, hire, and grow. Contrast this with the previous administration, which spent years promoting globalism, outsourcing jobs, and leaving our supply chains vulnerable. Now, with significant investments like Apple's $600 billion commitment to U.S. manufacturing, we're witnessing a realignment. Jobs are returning, and critical industries are being rebuilt domestically. This is economic nationalism at work, not just rhetoric. Challenges remain. The situation with Russia is complex, and a diplomatic solution that prioritizes American interests is essential. Endless intervention has drained our resources and distracted us from domestic rebuilding. This administration's direct engagement strategy, aiming for deals that benefit the U.S. rather than foreign elites, marks a significant shift from past failures. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party is in disarray, plagued by infighting and losing support from traditional labor allies with no clear economic vision. Their leadership appears more focused on virtue signaling and political gamesmanship than on delivering results for working Americans. The Teamsters' refusal to endorse a candidate last cycle underscores this disconnect. As for stock market valuations, they are indeed high, and some analysts anticipate a correction. This reflects renewed optimism and expectations that American companies will continue to excel. The real risk lies not with pro-growth domestic policies, but with a return to a globalist agenda that depends on foreign supply chains and international bureaucracies. In conclusion, the American economy is thriving because we are prioritizing our workers, our industries, and our future. This is the reality, often overlooked by mainstream media. Moving forward, our focus must remain on policies that put America first, both at home and internationally.
She's all jumping up and down like I've never seen anything like it, talking about supporting the communist mayor. And he's not a socialist. He's a communist.
The whole party's on the lam. JB Back Ribs is harboring Democrat refugees from Texas who are terrified they're going to get gerrymandered out of power. Even canceled Colbert's not buying it.
Look at 17 here. It does that. Then it comes up here and it sneaks around there and goes all the way up here and then goes right over there like that. And look at this one, kind of goes whoop up there. It's like the stinger on a scorpion down here. Is this common for all states to do?
Well, we handed it over to a kindergarten class and let them decide.
Democrats in Texas are regrouping after a tough election cycle, with Kendall Scudder at the helm, promising a bright future for a party that hasn't secured a statewide victory in over 3 decades. And despite rhetoric about opportunities for all 30 million Texans, the reality shows a fractured coalition, diminishing urban strongholds, and a slipping traditional base, notably among Hispanic voters in South Texas, who are increasingly leaning right. The sight of party leaders seeking refuge in states like Illinois isn't just political theater. It signals a party struggling for relevance and disconnected from its constituents. The spectacle of Democrat legislators fleeing Texas to evade redistricting repercussions, only to find solace among partisan allies in blue states, highlights a deep-seated hypocrisy regarding their commitment to democracy. They decry gerrymandering in Texas, yet deflect when questioned about similar practices in Illinois, often leaving even their favored late-night hosts at a loss for words. This scenario underscores a party more focused on manipulating rules than winning based on solid ideas. Rather than crafting an interesting message for working families, Democrats have doubled down on identity politics and procedural tactics, attempting to maintain power through backroom deals and legal maneuvers. In contrast, the Republican strategy emphasizes economic nationalism and a commitment to American manufacturing, yielding tangible results like Apple's significant investment in U.S. production, which benefits states like Kentucky and Texas, not overseas competitors. Meanwhile, Democrats remain fixated on expanding government, increasing taxes, and outsourcing American prosperity to international entities. Their leadership, consumed with virtue signaling and the latest progressive trends, has lost touch with the core issues that matter to everyday Texans: jobs, security, and opportunity. This disconnect is so pronounced that even labor unions, like the Teamsters, which have historically supported Democrats, are withholding their endorsements. The redistricting failure, producing maps that seem amateurishly drawn, is just the latest indication of a party at a crossroads. Rather than presenting a forward-looking vision, Democrats appear to be evading accountability, clinging to power by any means, and hoping voters won't take notice. As the next election looms, the contrast between a party focused on American renewal and one mired in procedural obsessions will clearly become more apparent.
With an attitude like that, they're not getting invited to Christmas dinner anymore. We like guests that bring something to the table, like investments, peace deals. A great quote for renovations. That makes someone a good partner. Also, it helps if they can putt.
When guests bring investments, peace deals, and even memorable lines about renovations, they propel our country forward. It's about making contributions, not just marking presence, whether at the dinner table or in the corridors of power. Recent headlines highlight American companies like Apple stepping up with $600 billion in new manufacturing commitments. This isn't just a number. It's a signal that when the government steps back and incentivizes domestic production, American workers and communities thrive. The expansions in Kentucky and Texas, the Detroit Manufacturing Academy, and the Houston Tech Facility all demonstrate that a nation can rebuild its industrial base when policies reward domestic investment. Contrast this with the Democratic Party's approach, which pursues globalist agendas and regulatory overreach, pushing jobs and innovation overseas. Their coalition is fragmented, labor relationships strained, and their economic message unclear. Even traditional allies and organized labor question whether the party still represents working Americans, with union leaders criticizing Democratic outreach as smug and transactional. Fox News coverage of these developments highlights tangible economic outcomes like job creation and domestic investment, providing viewers with concrete metrics beyond political spin. Their on-the-ground reporting from new manufacturing sites and interviews with business leaders and union officials adds a level of visual storytelling that links policy to real-world impact. The coverage could improve in balance and objectivity. While Fox effectively points out the failures of Democratic leadership, it sometimes overlooks the long-term costs and feasibility of large-scale reshoring. Concerns about potential increases in consumer prices and the actualization of promised jobs suggest a need for more rigorous fact-checking and a broader range of expert opinions. Fox's editorial stance is evident, but viewers deserve a complete view, including the challenges and trade-offs of industrial policy shifts. The network uses interesting visuals from factory floors to Union Hall interviews, and their coverage of the White House renovations cleverly connects symbolic gestures to broader themes of national renewal. A heavy reliance on administration talking points can sometimes limit independent analysis, especially concerning issues where even Republican policies merit a critical look from a populist America. First, perspective. This is a time when the country needs partners who bring substance, investments that create jobs, peace deals that secure our interests, and a readiness to challenge the status quo. The Republican approach, rooted in economic nationalism and a commitment to American manufacturing, is yielding results that are difficult to overlook. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party's focus on procedural maneuvers and identity politics increasingly alienates the voters they aim to represent. The table is set for those ready to contribute. Others may find their invitations rescinded. Well, there you have it. Tonight, we watch the same tired elites attempt to sell us another fantasy, as if the real problems facing our country can be solved with empty gestures and global distractions. The previous administration, Biden and Harris, left us with soaring crime rates, open borders, and a government more concerned with foreign wars than with American families. Now, under President Trump, we have a leader who prioritizes America. He must remember that this country is not a playground for the powerful. Our leaders must not forget whom they serve. If they overlook the decay on our streets while lecturing us about democracy abroad, they risk losing everything. The American people are alert now, and we refuse to be silenced any longer. The real question is, when will Washington finally listen, or will they wait until it's too late? What do you think? Give us your thoughts below. Plus, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be back with more soon.